As kids go back to school, demand is still outpacing supply. Let's talk about that and more in this week's segment of Market Watch. Hi everyone, it's Joshua Barks here, Associate Broker at Keller Williams Realty Boise and Team Lead of the Barks & Co. Real Estate Team. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's segment of Market Watch. If you're new to my channel, we talk about the Boise area housing market on a week-over-week basis, and then once a month we go into our deep dive into the market dynamics for an entire month and talk about the numbers in both Ada County and Canyon County. This week is just our mini update on what's going on in Ada County resale on a week-over-week basis. So let's dive right into those numbers. Inventory hit a new high with 826 listings on the market. That's the highest it's been all year, which is fantastic. We still need way more homes on the market to satisfy our demand. So 826 houses overall on the market compared to last week's 778 overall. We had only 203 new listings come on the market in the last 7 days compared to last week's 216. The reason I bring up the 203 new listings hitting the market as only is because our demand is still snatching up more than what we're bringing on each week. So we had 213 get under contract, went pending this week. So 203 came on the market and 213 got pulled off the market. Compared to last week, we were still outpacing supply as well. We had the 216 listings come on the market and 223 came off the market because they went pending. So where does that leave us? Well, demand is still pushing those prices up, though we are still seeing some price reductions out there because some sellers are being a little bit too aggressive on their prices, and the market is still kind of remaining a little bit more calm than what we're used to as compared to last year. Still a very hot seller's market out there. So 826 active listings, 837 pending overall, and the number of sales is still staying pretty consistent. We had 180 close in just the last week. It'll be really interesting to see how things fare over the next week because we have Labor Day weekend coming up, and that's usually when people finally get settled into school because the first couple weeks of school have started and then they're ready to go back on the house hunt. Or if they've been waiting, they're ready to put their house on the market and get into a new one before the holidays. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens with this fall. When we're talking about interest rates, they actually also stayed flat this week. We had 2.86 for the 30-year fixed interest rate according to Freddie Mac's research last week. This week it's 2.87. So pretty much the same for the national average according to their research. And that's still great, still wonderful for buyers, wonderful for people that need to refinance, and wonderful for sellers that are capitalizing on the equity that they have in their home and moving into maybe something closer to their dream home because it's still a highly competitive seller's market out there. Well, if you have any questions about this, I wanted to keep this week's video really short because we'll be going into our deep dive. I don't think next week because the report won't be out, but the following week will actually be our deep dive into the market dynamics. Let me know what you'd like me to cover in future videos. I'm always happy to go over additional information for you and provide additional insights on what we are seeing. But that's pretty much a gist right now. Inventory is still on the rise. Demand is still staying very consistent. Inventory is finally starting to meet that demand a little bit more because we're getting much closer to having the same number of active listings as we have pendings, which isn't quite the same as balance because we need actually more inventory than demand to actually start balancing out and see even more of a calming on prices. And I don't see that really happening anytime soon unless there's something drastic that goes on in the marketplace. So that's kind of what we're seeing. My number is 208-914-1095. Feel free to reach out to me anytime you have questions, or if you're thinking about making a move, you're thinking about selling your home, you're thinking about buying something, but you just don't know where to start, you want to get your ducks in a row, I'm always happy to just give you information so that you can make a good decision for you and your family. Because it is unique to every individual. Every situation is different. So what might be the perfect time for somebody to sell is not the right time for somebody to sell. And same on the buying side too. So we'd love to be interviewed. We're here as a resource, and we will see you next week. Thanks so much for staying tuned.